Ladies and gentlemen, kings and queens of the internet, tonight, we take you deep into the golden heart of a spectacle that shook the Filipino pageantry world to its core. He wasn't just a contender. He wasn't just a name on a sash. He was destiny in motion. And when the crown touched his head on that dazzling night of April 13th, at the glamorous La Sala Grande events place in Sta Lucia, Cainta, Rizal, Joeren King Finney became the man written in the stars. This isn't just about a pageant. It's not just about a crown. It's about dreams, battles, sacrifices, courage, and raw humanity. It's about a boy from Negros Oriental who dared to rise, dared to roar, and finally stood as the undisputed king of the world Philippines 2025. I'm your host, Zainab Sabir, and you're watching the one and only Mr. Darkman TV. Smash that like button, hit that subscribe, and don't forget to ring that bell so you never miss another sizzling and sensational story. Because what we're about to unfold tonight is a legacy. A legacy named Joeren King Finney. When Joeren first stepped into the public eye, the whispers began. Who is this charming young man from Negros Oriental? With his sharp features, confident stance, and enigmatic presence, he wasn't just walking, he was arriving. From the moment he entered the press presentation and received his official sashing as a candidate, there was a fire in his eyes that the cameras couldn't resist. He was hungry. Not just for fame, but for meaning, for impact, for legacy. Growing up in Negros Oriental, life wasn't handed to Joeren on a silver platter. His story was never paved in gold, instead, it was stitched with silent sacrifices and quiet heartbreaks. He spoke about it, the fragmented family, the father who tried but fell short, the siblings he rarely saw, and the emotional toll of growing up too fast. In a touching moment that would later go viral, Joeren opened up during the final Q&A. My father got married 3 times, he said, voice trembling with vulnerability. And I feel so sorry for my half-sister and half-brother because he's always out there working so hard to provide for his family, but it ends up not working out. So I believe that the most important thing a modern-day king can do is to spend quality time with the ones who matter. Not just provide, but be there. The crowd fell silent, then thundered into applause. A king had just spoken from the depths of his heart, and the universe listened. The night was fierce. With over 24 heartthrobs, warriors, and dreamers from across the archipelago, the stage transformed into a battleground. Each man came not just with abs and smiles, but with stories, with passion, with missions from Bulacan's poetic Christian Dante Vargas, who quoted Philippians 4 verse 13 to conquer his anxiety, to Cebu's brave warrior who idolized the ancient Filipino hero Lapu-Lapu. The night was soaked in emotions and historic reflections. The stakes? Sky high. One by one, they stood before the judges. Their minds were tested. Their spirits were questioned. They were asked, what would you sacrifice? What legacy would you leave? How would you lead? Joeren stood calmly, his posture like a lion sizing up the savannah. His answer was raw and unscripted. And it wasn't about political reform, economic change, or poetic patriotism. It was about love. Real, flawed, human love. The kind that kings are often too proud to admit they need. And yet, that love, that raw, aching truth, would be the sword that won him the crown. When host after host dragged out the suspense, when the drumbeat of destiny echoed in every heart seated at La Sala Grande, the final announcement arrived. The nation held its breath. And then, the grand winner of King of the World Philippines 2025 is an Negro Orientals. Joeren King Finney. Confetti exploded. Lights danced. And Joeren, overwhelmed, trembling, and teary-eyed, took his first steps as the crowned king. The previous title holder passed on the majestic sash and royal seal, and in that moment, Joeren became more than a man, he became legend. The crowd rose in unison. His name echoed like a chant from the heavens. Cameras flashed. People wept. This was history, not just for pageantry, but for every son from the provinces who dared to believe he was worthy of greatness. Joeren made it clear, this was never about vanity. It was about visibility. In his first official post-crowning interview, he outlined his royal mission: to create safe spaces for young men to talk about mental health, family wounds, and identity, he said. Kings are not just strong, they must be open-hearted too. His advocacy strikes at the roots of toxic masculinity, emotional suppression, and fatherhood challenges in Filipino households. He wants to normalize healing, to let young men know that being vulnerable doesn't make you less of a man, it makes you royalty. His platform will include nationwide seminars, online platforms, and a partnership with youth organizations to promote mental wellness and emotional intelligence among young Filipino males. Social media exploded. "He's not just king material, he's a revolution," tweeted one fan. Hashtags like thousands reshared his final answer. Influencers, celebrities, and even politicians saluted his honesty. One Instagram reel, zooming in on Joeren's emotional expression after being crowned, reached over 3.2 million views in under 24 hours. And behind the camera flashes and viral clips, one thing was clear: Joeren wasn't just crowned. He was claimed by the hearts of the people. Now, all eyes are on the international stage. Joeren will soon represent the Philippines at the Global King of the World 2025 competition, where he will stand against dozens of contenders from across the globe. He has begun training with some of the Philippines' most elite coaches, from speech mentors to runway experts to fitness gurus. But he remains grounded. He still visits Negros Oriental every month. Still spends time with his family. Still advocates for balance. Because the true crown he wears isn't jeweled. It's made of honor, humility, and heart. So what makes a king? Is it the crown? The applause? The glittering night lights? Or is it the quiet courage to speak your truth, the tears you let fall in front of millions, not out of weakness, but out of realness? Joeren King Finney didn't just win a pageant, he rewrote what it means to be royal. He's the king who bleeds, the king who listens, the king who loves. And the world? It's watching. This has been Mr. Darkman TV, your ultimate destination for unforgettable stories that break the internet and touch the soul. I've been your host, Zainab Sabir, and trust me, we're just getting started. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, because the crown may shine, but the truth burns. Until next time, stay bold, stay royal, and never stop believing in the power of your story.